Welcome back. This morning, we're keeping an eye on the White House, where in just the next hour or so, President Trump's scheduled to hold a meeting with members of his cabinet. And it comes after the president sent out letters to 14 countries announcing new trade tariffs that will go into effect starting August 1st. Now, this morning, this is in response. China was not one of those 14 countries, but threatened to retaliate if the trade deals with these other countries sideline China. Let's get more from NBC's business and data correspondent Brian Chung and NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake. And let me start with you, Garrett, because the White House has really only announced 3 trade agreements, I think, with Vietnam, the UK, with China. Not all those are intended to be final deals either. And now there appears to be this shifting deadline, this new deadline, August 1st. What happened to 90 deals in 90 days?
Well, and I think it's pretty clear that that slogan from the White House has crashed headlong into the reality that negotiating trade deals, especially with some of our larger trading partners, is complex work. Now, the White House and the president insist that there are about a dozen major economies with whom they still want to negotiate proper deals, or at least frameworks along major elements of our trade relationships. But for the vast majority of other nations in the world, the president seems set on setting tariff rates unilaterally by letter, using power provided to him that's actually already bogged down in the courts. Here's how he explained some of his shifting thinking when asked exactly this question last night.
What happened to 90 trade deals in 90 days?
We've spoken to everybody. We know it's all done.
Well, it's day 80.
I told you, we'll make some deals. We're going to have much more than 90, but most of those are going to be sent to letter.
Is the August 1 deadline firm now? Is that it?
I would say firm. No, I would say firm, but not 100% firm. If they call up and they say, would like to do something a different way, we're going to be open to that.
And I think it's pretty clear this is going to remain a moving target. The president also said in that same media availability that even though he sees essentially his work as done, he's willing to continue to listen to offers. As we journalists know, a shifting deadline is no real deadline. And so the uncertainty around this trade war and these tariffs is going to continue.
Yeah, firm, but not 100% firm was his answer. Direct words there. Brian, so we have the White House sending out a bunch of letters essentially saying, here's your new tariff rate. I'm curious which countries, for one, because 14 countries got these letters. And how does the tariff rates that were sent out compare to what the president had initially threatened back on, that Liberation Day in April?
Yeah, well, the president posted on Truth Social the copies of the letters that he sent out. And the list of countries, as you mentioned, is quite long. It ranges from major trading partners like South Korea and Japan to smaller countries like Laos. But what was interesting to me was that some of the tariff rates that were published in these letters were actually different than what was posted on that poster board, you recall, that he showed the public in the Rose Garden announcement in the beginning of April. So a country like Laos, for example, the letter said 40% tariff rate, but the poster board about 3 months ago said 48%. So how are these numbers being calculated? Even at the time in April, we were looking at the calculation for how they came up with these numbers. It's really not reciprocal. It's basically calculated as the estimated number that they would have to land on to close the trade deficit with these countries. So a country could be charging United States goods going into their country at a 0% tariff rate. And this way that the White House has been calculating their numbers could still come up with some number like 48%. So all these numbers are kind of being, for lack of better words, pulled out of thin air. But it is worth noting that, there's this new August 1st deadline. You imagine that buys a number of these countries a few extra weeks of negotiation to avoid that tariff deadline, because it is not a firm, 100% firm, at least, deadline there. But again, we'll have to see what happens. This could lead to price increases later on down the line. But UBS, a Wall Street bank, says it seems a wasted effort to analyze every Trump social media post. That underscores why markets really aren't doing anything right now. Dow Jones is basically down about 0.25%, which isn't really that notable today.
We're just watching and waiting some more. Thank you, Brian Chung, Garrett Haake. Appreciate you both.